Coulthard in the wall. David Coulthard.
One wet race, 13 crashes, and a team order controversy. This was the Belgian Grand Prix that shook F1 forever.
Yes, yes, it's go. And Coulthard drags.
Spa 1998, torrential rain, chaos on track, a shocking 1-2 finish, and tempers that nearly boiled over on live TV. And right from the start, the tension was electric. Saturday's track was cool, dry, and perfect. The kind of day that makes drivers smile and fans hold their breath. But this was a Spa, and even on a calm day, nothing stays calm for long. The spotlight immediately fell on McLaren. Mika Häkkinen and David Coulthard were pushing each other to the absolute limit. Every time Coulthard improved his lap, Häkkinen responded like a predator, shaving off tiny fractions of a second. And in the end, Häkkinen stole pole position by a razor-thin 0.1 seconds, literally heart-stopping for anyone watching. Damon Hill wasn't far behind, locking in P3 with nerves of steel. Michael Schumacher was a hair's breadth behind in P4, though his lap was under scrutiny for a waved yellow flag incident. Eddie Irvine rounded out the top 5, while Jacques Villeneuve impressed in 6th. Meanwhile, the midfield had its own chaos. Mika Salo crashed his aero, reminding everyone that even qualifying at Spa isn't safe. Every driver was feeling the pressure. Every lap was a gamble.
This possible wave will be delighted. The World Championship situation is now.
And here's where it gets even crazier. Race day was supposed to be straightforward. The forecast promised warm, dry conditions, but Spa had other plans. By early morning, rain was pouring down, turning the track into a slippery nightmare. Drivers and teams were scrambling. Spa isn't forgiving, and the spray from other cars makes every corner a potential death trap. In the warm-up, Michael Schumacher immediately showed why he was a master in the wet, setting the fastest pace. Irvine followed close behind, then Häkkinen, Ralf Schumacher, and Hill. You could feel the tension building. Every team knew the first few laps were going to be carnage. Tire choices became a gamble of survival. Schumacher and Villeneuve took intermediates, hoping to stay nimble, while Häkkinen, Coulthard, and Hill went with full wets, trying to play it safe in the deluge. When the lights went out, Häkkinen got off cleanly, but Coulthard struggled to get going. Hill, suffering from excessive wheel spin, dropped back to 7th, while Schumacher used every ounce of skill to climb into 3rd. The storm wasn't just in the sky, it was on the track.
It's the worst start for a Grand Prix that I have ever seen.
Just when you thought it might settle down, chaos exploded. The spray from the cars made visibility almost zero. And then, disaster. Eddie Irvine clipped Coulthard, sending the McLaren spinning like a ragdoll across the track. Behind them, cars were dodging, weaving, crashing into each other. It was a horror show. 13 drivers were involved in the melee. Barrichello, Rosset, Panis, and Mika Salo were out completely, their cars mangled beyond repair. You could hear the collective gasp of the crowd as mechanics and marshals rushed to the scene. Miraculously, no one was seriously injured, but the cleanup took nearly an hour. Teams scrambled to get spare cars ready. Irvine hopped into Schumacher's backup Ferrari. Coulthard climbed into the McLaren spare, and Ralf Schumacher, by some miracle, had positioned himself perfectly to avoid the chaos and escape completely unscathed. It was one of those moments that makes you sit forward on the edge of your seat. Everyone watching knew this race wasn't just about speed anymore. It was survival. Spa had made its mark, and the drama was only just beginning. Just when it seemed like the chaos might be over, the race restarted, and Spa had another trick up its sleeve. Only 18 drivers made it back to the grid, the rest either destroyed or sidelined. The tension was electric. Everyone knew a single mistake could end the day. As the lights went out, Damon Hill seized the moment. He shot past the McLarens, making a bold statement after his earlier slip, while Häkkinen's nightmare continued. He spun 180 degrees at La Source and collided with Johnny Herbert. The safety car immediately deployed to manage the carnage. Meanwhile, Coulthard struggled to regain control after the pileup, ending up at the very back of the pack. The wet conditions were brutal. Spray everywhere. Tire choices critical. Every corner a potential disaster. Through it all, Hill managed to hold the lead briefly, with Schumacher and Irvine close behind, nerves stretched to the limit. The safety car eventually peeled away, and the battle for survival turned into a full-blown fight for position. Every lap was a chess match against the rain, the track, and each other. What would you have done in Hill's shoes, leading under this kind of chaos?
Nigel got him by the throat. James, what's the news?
Unbelievable altercation, as you say, Jean touched there.
And then came the moment that turned the race upside down. On lap 7, Michael Schumacher made his move, overtaking Hill and taking the lead. The man was unstoppable in the wet, threading his Ferrari through a storm of spray, mist, and tension. Irvine wasn't so lucky. On lap 9, he clipped a curb, breaking his front wing and budgeboard, forcing a lengthy pit stop to switch to full wets. Meanwhile, Ralf Schumacher had already made a smart tire change earlier, which would soon prove invaluable. But the real drama came on lap 26. Schumacher, leading comfortably, tried to pass Coulthard and disaster struck. The Ferrari's right front wheel smashed into the McLaren's rear. Both cars limped on, but Michael's race was effectively over. Frustration exploded. In the pit lane, he threw his steering wheel, stormed straight toward Coulthard, and unleashed a fiery tirade. Mechanics and crew had to physically separate the two drivers before things spiraled even further. It was pure, unfiltered emotion. Anger, disappointment, and intensity all rolled into one. Spa 1998 wasn't just a race, it was a stage where human drama played out in real time. Have you ever seen a driver that furious after a crash? And just when it looked like the drama might finally settle, strategy turned the spotlight back onto the drivers. Ralf Schumacher had been quietly climbing through the pack, a wet weather masterclass in action, closing the gap to his teammate Damon Hill. Every lap he inched closer, the tension almost unbearable. Then the safety car came out again, giving Jordan a golden opportunity, but with it came a catch. Team orders were clear. Ralf was instructed not to overtake Hill. The message didn't sit well. Ralf, frustrated and aware of his looming move to Williams next year, had every reason to ignore it, but he held back. It was a battle of patience versus ambition, and the Jordan team had the upper hand. Meanwhile, Michael Schumacher's Ferraris were both out, the German's dominance wiped away by chaos and collision. Hill maintained his lead, steady and focused, while Ralf's discipline set the stage for a historic outcome. Jordan's strategy was flawless. 1-2 in conditions that humbled nearly every other team. The wet, slippery track had turned into a masterclass in tactics, nerve, and timing.
Wins in Belgium! Fantastic!
And then it was over. Damon Hill crossed the finish line for Jordan's first ever Grand Prix victory, a moment of pure joy and relief. Ralf Schumacher took second, completing a sensational 1-2 finish that had the paddock erupting. Eddie Jordan himself celebrated with the now famous post-race jig, a sight etched into F1 history. For Michael Schumacher, the result stung. Missing the win at Spa cost him a crucial championship advantage, shifting the balance toward Hakkinen for the season finale at Suzuka. Out of 22 cars that started, only 8 finished. 13 retired in crashes, 1 bowed out mechanically. Spa 1998 had decimated the grid. This race wasn't just about speed, it was chaos, strategy, and courage, all rolled into 44 unforgettable laps. Tire choices, team orders, and nerves of steel changed the course of the championship. And, some would argue, Formula One forever.
Unbelievable race. And Eddie Jordan at last.
Spa 1998 wasn't just another Grand Prix, it was pure, unfiltered drama. For fans and drivers alike, it went down as one of the most chaotic, breathtaking races ever. The FIA took note, becoming far more cautious with wet weather races after witnessing the carnage. Teams and drivers learned brutal lessons about tire strategy, discipline, and the weight of team orders under pressure. And the footage, unforgettable. Spins, collisions, tempers flaring, and triumphs that still give goosebumps. Every lap told a story, every corner a risk. Spa 98 wasn't just racing, it was history, written in water, chaos, and courage. Spa 98 wasn't just a race, it was chaos, strategy, and heartbreak rolled into 44 unforgettable laps. Hill's historic win, Schumacher's meltdown, and 13 crashes reshaped F1 forever. What moment stunned you the most? Drop it in the comments, and if you love this, hit like and subscribe. More insane F1 stories coming your way.